I began my career in the business without going to the earlier parts of it. It was in government. And I got to live on the other side of the fence, so I know what it looked like. I made my name when I called the 1987 stock market crash. And in those days, you sent out press releases. We sent out about 5,000 of them. Those days, there were tons of newspapers. And the media wasn't owned by 6 companies as they are now. 6 companies owned about 91% of all the media. So it went out to, thousands. And I'd forecast the stock market crash. This would be the year it crashes, and it crashed. The Wall Street Journal picked it up, and that was the beginning of my, making it to the mainstream. I also, in our magazine, the Trends Journal, in October of 1999, we had .com crash. We said it would crash by the second quarter of 2000, and it crashed in March of 2000. And I also had the Asian currency crisis that I called, and in 2007, I took out the domain name, the panic of '08. I knew the markets were going to crash. The whole thing was artificially built up with the derivatives and the mortgage rates. You didn't have to have a job. You could be in debt, the subprime mortgages, and you could buy a house, which is it was so fraudulent in front of everybody's eyes. That's part of my career on the economic front. And then I thought things would crash again in 2012 because they were pumping in trillions of dollars between 2007 and 2010. The Federal Reserve, and this is according to the Levy Institute at Bard College, pumped in $29 trillion into the bankster groups. $29 trillion from 2007 to 2010. So I think this thing's going to run out in 2012. It's finished. I was wrong. They didn't teach me about zero interest rate policy and a scam called quantitative easing in Economics 101 or graduate school. So, you can't get it right all the time. Life, of course, you never get it right all the time. But even when you're sticking with the facts, they don't mean anything anymore. The whole game has changed. As I look at it, it's a crime syndicate in the sense that on the war end, they'll kill anybody they want in any place at any time for any reason. What's your favorite war? Hey, I'm a bankster. I'm too big to fail. Who are you? You're a nobody. Oh, how about this one with the COVID war? You're a non-essential business. Hey, but Walmart, you're all right. Home Depot, you could keep depoting. Lowe's, you're fine. So what I'm saying is, it's very difficult now to forecast where the trends are going because the game is so rigged. Well, it's still important to know where the trends are going so that you're aware of it and so that you're not blindsided by it. And that's what we do. We put out a weekly magazine that averages 150 pages, no ads. And so we're giving what in the world is going on, what it means, and what we see, what's coming next. And then we give all the, the trend forecasts and the analysis. And the motto of the Trends Journal is think for yourself. We're telling you, okay, we see this happening and this happening. There's a thing called the plunge protection chain. If it goes down too far, they come in. Oh, yeah, how about this one? Let's go back to 2019. That's not ancient history. Everything was going down. All of a sudden, what happens? They're dumping money into the repo market. $7 trillion from September 2019 to January 2020, a democracy? What, are you kidding me? Again, look at this baloney that they're spewing out about this Inflation Reduction Act. It's an oxymoron. It has nothing to do with inflation reduction, and you have to be a moron to believe it. We're going to give billions of dollars of the taxpayers' money, the plantation workers of Slavelandia, to foreign companies, national companies, to make chips. Wait a minute. You're giving companies our money to build plants to make a product. Yeah, that's right. You're calling that an Inflation Reduction Act? Yeah, that's right. Now, wait a minute. You also do this scam where, hey, I'm a big company. I'll build this, I'll do that. You give me a tax break. Okay, you don't have to pay taxes, but all the other people do. The merger of state and corporate powers under the definition by a guy by the name of Benito Mussolini, a paisano of mine that I'm not so happy about, called it fascism. So when we're looking at trends again and trying to forecast where they're going, You have to look at what the government has become. Look what they did with the COVID war. Hey, stay home. We're closing down your business. We're closing down your jobs, but here's free money. Oh, where's the money coming from? Don't worry about it. We're printing it. We're making this stuff up. Just shut your mouth. Stay home. $6 trillion pumped into it. And then I got this clown guy that's now becoming the Fed head over there in Chicago, Goolsbee, saying that, oh no, the inflation was caused by supply chain disruptions? Who are you talking to? What am I, 6 years old? No, you are a plantation worker of Slavelandia, so you swallow our crap. That's what's going on today.
This year, currencies have been more volatile than equities. Bonds clearly have been more volatile than anything else. Do you think that we're set up for another imminent sort of tail event?
No, I don't know when, but I would say it's coming soon. And it's going to be, to me, the worst financial crisis in modern history. Go back to 2019 again. You know, Germany was going into recession. We're a fraction of a point away from it. There were protests going on all over the world. Algeria, Lebanon, South Africa, Colombia, Peru, Chile, all over. France, the yellow vests. People were taking to the streets in protest, a lack of basic living standards, government corruption, crime, violence. Then the COVID thing happens, right? And they pump all this cheap money. So now the whole thing was artificially built up with cheap money and negative and zero interest rate policy. So now when it goes down, it's going down from something that was artificially built up. So it's going to be much worse. And now let's go back to what's going on. The Ukraine war. It's very serious. When all else fails, they take you to war. So my concern is that the economy, I think we're heading for the worst geopolitical and socioeconomic crisis in modern history. That's the way I see it. And again, I told you I'm 76 years old. World War II isn't ancient history. It ended 1 year before I was born. And Europe was destroyed. Germany was at the height of Western civilization in the 1930s, scientifically, philosophically, culturally. The whole place destroyed. So what I'm saying is people don't understand all the other elements of the trends that are shaping the future, and they only look at the one aspect of it. Now you mentioned before about the currencies. Why is the dollar so strong? Well, because the interest rate's going up. And why the other one so? What do you have in Europe? What, for 8 years you had negative interest rates? And all the crap spewing out of their mouths that when inflation hit 2%, we were going to raise interest rates? And then them BSing for almost 2 years, over 2 years, that it was only temporary and transitory. And now, so they're raising, what do they go, 1.50 interest rate? Yeah, and what do you have inflation over there in Europe, 10.7%? You got deeply negative interest rates. So the dollar's strong because the other currencies are so weak, because of the debt loads. And now you have the emerging markets, and they have all of this money borrowed in dollars as their currencies are going down the crapper. Now they have to pay back more of their currency to pay